Wow, this is interesting. Nicole Wallace on MSNBC. This is Jason Easley wrote this, and let's see, what is the website? Oh, it's at politicasusa.com. And Republican strategist and MSNBC contributor Nicole Wallace said that people outside of the administration who have spent time with Trump said that the president is showing signs of paranoia and delusion over his belief that Obama wiretapped him. She said, and I quote, "I sense that they have no plans today of walking away from this claim. This is still the president's belief. Some folks still close to the president, but not in the White House staff, said it's a word I can't say on family-friendly TV, but the initials are B and S. Another person who spent time with the president this weekend in Florida said it was signs of paranoia and delusion around this idea that he's so right. Interestingly, he has sought to have people outside the government corroborate this wiretapping claim, which either suggests this observation of paranoia and delusion is in fact operational or extreme ignorance of all the powers at his disposal and all the investigative powers of the federal government." Sean Spicer was just talking a moment ago about how there's a deep state and there are people during the Obama administration who burrowed themselves deep into the government. And now they're like sitting there like little, well, he didn't add this part, I will, like little prairie dogs in their holes with conning towers, what are those, periscopes, you know, like submarine periscopes, waiting for Donald Trump to walk by so that they can jump up and go, boo! Now, you know, yeah, I'm sort of making fun of it, but Hitler was paranoid. I mean, clinically paranoid. Watch the movie Downfall sometime. The 16-year-old boy who brought Hitler the story, you know, the news that he had lost the war. A 16-year-old boy. His name was Armin Lehman. A-R-M-I-N-L-E-H-M-A-N. Armin and I, back in the 70s and 80s, or back in the 80s, I started doing this in 82 and did it with Armin until probably around 86 or thereabouts. We used to travel around the world, literally all around the world, and teach seminars to the travel industry. We taught them to airlines, we taught them to cruise ships, we taught them to travel agents on, you know, how travel worked and how to market travel. And it was a marketing seminar that we put together. And it wasn't just Armin and me. There were a few other people involved, and there was a company out of San Francisco that was doing the thing, and I'm sorry, I can't remember the name of the company or the name of the guy who owned it, and he may still be alive. But I had no idea the first few years that I knew Armin. And then when I started doing my radio show in 2003, we had 2004 or 5, we had moved to Oregon, and Armin contacted me. He lived in Oregon. And he said, you know, I was the last person with Adolf Hitler before he committed suicide. I was the guy who brought him the news. I was 16 years old. And I was like, Armin, you know, this is amazing. And he's like, and I wrote a book about it, which has not been published. And he wanted to come to my home and leave the manuscript with me in case anything happened to him. I said, fine, come on over. I still have that original manuscript. Armin published it. It's called In the Führer's Bunker, as I recall. Or the first version was called Hitler's Last Courier. And Armin died a few years ago, but he committed his life to peace. He started a little foundation. He had a website, Armin Lehman's, you know, peace site. And the one thing that, you know, and Armin used to tell me stories about Hitler. And the one story that I remember most vividly is Armin's absolute conviction that Adolf Hitler had gone insane. His hands were trembling, his voice was shaking. He seemed to have no control over himself. And this is why I say, watch the movie Downfall. It's probably on Netflix. You know, it's in German, it's subtitled. But, you know, Armin, as I recall, Armin saw that. It might be it came out after he died, but I don't think so. I recall, I have a recollection of discussing it with Armin. Sometimes memory plays tricks on us, you know. But it was when Hitler became paranoid, which apparently happened in the early 30s, when he started using amphetamines in a big way. Because Hitler was a relatively young man at that time. He was in his, what, mid to late 40s? And whereas Trump is 70. So I don't think that Trump is, I don't think he has to take amphetamines to make himself crazy or paranoid. I think all he has to do is just, you know, be himself and surround himself with nutty people. I mean, he surrounds himself with people like Alex Jones and Michael Savage and Mark Levin. I mean, you know, he's got these right-wing conspiracy theorists who, and arguably brought him to power. I'm very concerned about this.